Okay, hey guys, this is Mr. Wright. I quickly want to go over the opening government stuff for the final exam. Couple things I'm just going to point out are going to be important for you guys to take a look at. So, if you guys remember, we started talking about really basic government concepts and a couple ones that I want to point out to you. There's a couple of questions in regards to the social contract theory. So, something to focus on was this idea of the social contract theory. Remember that it was developed by English philosophers in the 17th and 18th century, and two names to really focus in on are Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. So Thomas Hobbes came up with the whole thing. He said that human beings used to live in a state of nature, no government existed, things were bad, and then eventually the strong kind of took over and governments began to exist. People actually created governments. And one of the things that they did was that they gave their rights or their liberty over to a strong ruler. In exchange, they got security, they got law, and they got order. So keep that in mind. Crucial element that I can guarantee is going to be on the test. In addition, a couple hundred years later, we have John Locke comes along, and he says that you and I and all of us are born with three rights: the rights to life, liberty, and property, and that it's government's job to look after those rights. And if they look after those rights, then they will be in good shape. However, if the government doesn't look after our life, our liberty, and our property, then we have the right to rebel against that government. So that's a crucial element that I want you to definitely know for the exam. We also talked about types of nations, not too much of that on the exam. The purpose of government, again, not too much on the exam about that. Couple questions about unitary systems. Remember, that's where there's just one level of government, and then definitely a question on a federal system where we divide government between state and local government. I guarantee you'll see that on the exam. Also, we talked a little bit about autocracy, rule by one, oligarchy, in which there's a small group of people, maybe a family, maybe a religious group, maybe the military is running the government. And then we also talked about democracy, in which all people rule or have some say in the government. Now, there's direct democracy and there's representative democracy. In America, we have a representative democracy. Four characteristics of a democracy. I'm telling you, you'll want to know at least two of these. You've got individual liberty, you've got majority rule with minority rights. Actually, let me go back to that real quick. Individual liberty, meaning that we can do whatever we want by and large. Majority rule with minority rights, meaning that there are some things that, some rights that we have in a representative democracy that no matter how small or the people who believe in those rights are, the majority can't take those away from them. Free elections, and then we broke down free elections a little bit more, so make sure that you know about what makes up a free election. And also competing political parties, and we explained what a political party was. Make sure that you know the characteristics of a democracy, and also, hint, hint, make sure that you know the elements that make up a free election. We also have countries where democracies do well are active citizen participation, favorable economy that features capitalism, widespread education, strong civil society, social consensus. Make sure you know this list as well. Three economic systems, pretty important. Capitalism. Remember, capitalism has choice. It allows for people to make choices on what they consume, on what they invest in, what kind of products they produce, where they invest their money. Choice, 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 right? Now, 5 characteristics of capitalism, maybe not so important for this exam. We also have the origins of capitalism, the idea that people could work hard and then they could use their gains aggressively. And we talked about Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. Remember, he talked about laissez-faire economics, this idea that the government could should maintain a hands-off relationship with the government. I'm sorry, let me say that again. Laissez-faire means that the government should stay out of the economy, have a hands-off approach to the economy, meaning that the government should allow consumers, investors, producers, and employers to make the decisions on their own. Remember how in class we said that by and large consumers decide what the price of something is? That's laissez-faire. We don't want the government setting the price. So in America, we have a mixed market economy. We talked about socialism. This is when the government owns key aspects of the economy, like they might own all the transportation system or healthcare system. And then we talked about communism. Remember, Karl Marx came up with this. There's the bourgeoisie, the people who owned production. There was the proletariat, the people who worked. Right? Bourgeoisie, the owner, proletariat, the workers. And Marx said that in a communist economy, the government would make all key economic decisions, and that everybody would have everything in equal. So that's what we got, and good luck. If you need any help, be sure to ask me in class.